Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I am cpredmor on Ravelry, and I'm Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram, which I haven't been posting lately. I think because I got less than excited about the garden. Although I should really post because we've been eating tomatoes off of it.
You've been eating tomatoes.
Oh, Elizabeth brought me another garden.
I did.
Now we're going to have a lettuce garden and a tomato garden because the lettuce fighting for space with the tomatoes is not going well. So I think we're going, and Richard's sure that the tomato seeds are played out. I think they're just exhausted. So I've got a...
you mean the lettuce seeds?
Yes, sorry, the lettuce seeds. So I've got a few more of the tomatoes, so I think I could put one more tomato plant in there. Leave one hole empty to allow me to get in and water the thing. And then the arrow that Liz brought.
So it was on sale by the Evil Overlords due to Evil Overlord Day. Sorry, Amazon Prime Day.
Yes.
And
she brought
heirloom salad kit.
I was going to say heritage, but you know.
Heirloom salad kit, because I knew Mom had been wanting one, and they were very much on sale. So I gave in to, even though the fact that I did not want to. I did, because I love my mother and how much she loves her hydroponicking.
Yes.
So.
And I had a great visit with the surgeon.
And so now we have a hydroponic lettuce situation in the living room.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's
there
just
are people
adorable.
that have taken my side tables. I had two in the dining room where this could have fit on. Then you took the table back for your dining room. And then Richard decided that he wanted to do something else with the television. So my other side table is now holding the television. So now I've taken one of the side tables from the living room and turned it into a hydroponic garden holding place. And I expect it'll be 2 weeks before we see any lettuces, but we'll see. They have their little grow hats on, and they've been fully watered. And
it was very funny because Dad was very confused why the empty box was where it was, having been now set up. And I was like, I'm sorry, you've walked into the living room now 3 times, and you have not noticed the giant glowing thing in the corner. What, sir? What?
So anyway, I'm very excited about that. So, but I really haven't been on Instagram that much.
You have a fuzzy right there.
I have a fuzzy?
Yes, it was a very large fuzzy.
I'm not quite sure why.
Oh
well, these things happen.
Yes.
So what's new?
So this weekend was virtual Indie Untangled, so Indie Untangled everywhere, and also virtual Rhinebeck.
Yes.
And also, we also attended the Meet on the Hill with Little Skane Ann and Jacqueline Cieslak. And then we joined in when they also had the Knitmores on.
Yes.
On Saturday. So a full Rhinebeck weekend from home.
I mean, I honestly didn't look at the I didn't buy a ticket for the marketplace for Rhinebeck.
I did.
Why? Well, honestly, I didn't walk around that much last year because of the knee situation, and I figured I was going to be up to my nose at Indie, as I was last year. I had bought all my stuff at Indie last year, so I didn't buy Rhinebeck. But it was a great weekend. It was very full.
Yes.
Thursday, I logged in, and I saw Mina and Grace. So Grace from Babbles, traveling, and Mina from Knitting Expat, which was great. I really enjoy listening to them. And then Marceline was...
From Hey Brown Berry, that was...
Right. Was that later
Saturday.
that day? No,
that was Saturday.
So I saw Marceline. Or we saw Marceline. We saw Marceline.
You saw Cabin Boy Knits.
Right.
I was in the other room making apple cider donuts for that.
Right. And so it really was a very, very, very full weekend.
Thursday
what's nice is that it was very accessible. I'm so used to being exhausted this weekend, and fighting my way and elbowing your way and crowds and all this other kind of stuff. Someone else mentioned that at least your shawl that was on your needles didn't get carried away by somebody's, hairpin or shawl pin. I actually liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I was able to log in.
Bingo.
We did. I was going to say,
you
you skipped an entire day, Mom.
I know.
So, Thursday was great. Thursday, there were some fashion shows. There were...
oh, yes, I saw the first fashion show.
Yes, which was accessories, yes. I believe.
Hats
and mitts.
Yes.
And we discovered a new designer there. Jen, I can't remember her last name, but Jen.
From California.
Yes.
Who had some stunning mitts.
Yes.
That reflected her feelings about the year 2020.
Yeah. I will put her page, hopefully down below, if I can find it. And then, I went to some of the vendor, Zooms in between some of my meetings.
I went to one. I found I liked the open marketplace better, just going in and looking at the shops and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which was just clicking on the link and going through there.
Who was the one who supported the Untangled, the knitting store? Scratch. They did a tour of their knitting store in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is a place that we go to sometimes.
We used to go more frequently.
Yes, and that was lovely. They've got a very large store with lots of different dyers represented.
I think they're in
Yes.
They're in Lebanon.
6 miles from the King Arthur Flower Store.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, you can knock off several things at once there. Fascinating. They just had bunches and bunches of stuff. So that was nifty.
Yeah. So that was Thursday. I went to one. I might have went to two, but I went definitely to one of the shops. It was Untold Imprint, who I currently have a cart open. I'll probably get it because she has some beautiful block printed textiles. I don't know. I looked on her site in the very beginning, a few weeks ago, when the list of vendors was announced, and I noticed she had these kitchen towels, and I was like, those would be good gifts. So I'm thinking I might do that and get those to use, because I'm thinking of getting books and wrapping them in the kitchen towels.
I think that would be lovely.
Yeah, and because also they're not just kitchen towels, they're just cotton towels, so you could use them, for your hair, you could use them for, if you do yoga or a workout, as a workout towel, you could use them for almost anything, because they are just a cotton towel with, and she does say they are machine washable. So I think I'm going to do that.
Sounds good.
But I got to talk to her, which was really nice. She's also got these giant, not giant, but they're decent sized bucket bags, that are beautiful, and she puts a lot of work into them. So definitely check her out if you're interested in non-yarn objects. I think she made a bunch of needle organizers as well. The larger ones, so ones that include not just your interchangeable sets, but for if you have straights and double pointeds and those kinds of things, as well as circulars.
Like Delicue. Yeah,
like the large Delicue one. That is really nice. And she's got some beautiful prints. So I'm definitely gonna keep her on my radar in general, but I do think that I'm going to get a jump start on my holiday gifting.
Good idea.
At least for my friends. In that aspect. So
that
was Thursday. And then Friday was, there were a few other events. I can't think of the word right now. Fashion shows.
Right.
And I logged in without my video and without my camera because I was in between meetings at work, and it was the sock one, and no one really had anything else to share.
People apparently volunteered to show off their items and didn't show up.
Which is fine. They could have had technical difficulties or a personal emergency occur.
We certainly have had technical difficulties.
Or they could have, like we do, have a migraine that day and just be like, no, we're not doing this. And that's one of the brilliant things about doing Indie Untangled everywhere and virtual Rhinebeck is that you can log in and still participate,
Here,
but just not have to be on video. But also you can still go and shop at any hour of the evening or day or morning. So it was funny. I had on a pair of socks I had knit, so I took my shoe off and tried very hard not to fall out of my office chair while showing them off to the group. And it was funny. I realized I had been in a funk all week leading up. Because usually we're getting ready for Rhinebeck. Usually I'm frantically trying to finish a sweater and block it or frantically trying to finish a coat, like last year. Mm-hmm. So it was really strange, and I was bummed is the best way to put it.
You didn't realize it.
And I didn't realize it. And then Thursday happened, and it was really nice because, I popped on and friends were there and Mom was already in, some of those events and, everyone said hi and it was lovely. So it was nice to see some faces I hadn't seen in a while, specifically since Vogue. And so then Friday was a few more of the fashion shows and also I popped into the Shiny Wear Co. If you'll notice, a lot of the people I'm talking about are people who are not vending yarn. I'm trying very hard to only buy yarn that is boyfriend friendly, unless it's things like the 1600 pen from Neighborhood, which is one of the most perfect purples. So we cannot resist that siren call. But other than that, I am trying very hard to work through my stash while also doing, buying yarn that is boyfriend friendly. So I was on with Shiny Wear Co. And so that was fun because Christy from Birdie Parker was also in that one. And I did make an order from Birdie Parker. I have 3 pairs of earrings coming my way. But it was really nice to be able to hang out with them in between some meetings. It was also a dreary day on Friday in New York City.
Yeah, rainy.
Yeah, so it was interesting to just have some, while I was doing some data input, to have them be able to, be my buddy while I'm there. And then Friday then, I locked off, I busted my butt to get home, grabbed my stuff, and came over here. Mm-hmm. And then Friday night was bingo night.
That was last night.
No, last night was sweaters.
Oh, that's right. So much fun.
So
much fun.
Bingo was super fun. Patrina was our bingo mistress, and
they laughed at me because I had all these Post-it notes that I was using to keep track of my bingo.
Well, you massacred a set of Post-it notes.
I did.
And then you determined that the Post-it notes you massacred were inefficient, so you used other Post-it notes.
No,
and then
you
went further.
Then I went back and I ripped them even further.
Yeah. So it was just funny.
I didn't win anything.
It's okay.
But I had a ball.
But our friend, whose birthday it was on Friday, actually ended up winning the grand prize. So that was really exciting.
Quite chuffed.
Yes. And then, so that was Friday, and that was awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping that Patrina will do, or that Indy will do more bingo in the future. I have done bingo with Patrina before, and it is so much fun.
Hilarious.
So I'm really hoping that that'll pick up again once we start seeing the colder weather come through.
Yes.
But other than that, then we get to Saturday, which was yesterday. So yesterday you were on the Indie Untangled Lounge most of the morning.
Yes.
Which was Cabin Boy Knits and Scratch and Hey Brown Berry, which is Marceline. Because the E on the, she said the E on the end is
silent?
Well, she said it was deceptive.
Ah.
I think.
Something like that.
Forgive me if I'm wrong about that. I just remembered that. So Mars from Hey Brownberry, she was just delightful. I've watched her, I'm pretty sure I just listened while I've had her on in the background before, and I really enjoy her. I have this thing about voices. I really enjoy the cadence that she speaks with.
Yes.
So that was lovely. And during all of that, I was also making apple cider donuts.
They were delicious.
So we used the Red Bob Mills recipe, which is already, or Bob Red Mill, whatever, which is already gluten-free.
Right.
So we used that recipe. I will probably be making them again at least a few times this fall because they are all gone now.
Yes.
I did only make 10. So.
But they were the right size.
They were. They were very good.
Richard has had his fill of them.
Well, I'm pretty sure each of us has had about 3.
Yes. They're delicious.
Yes.
So that went well.
Yes. So,
then there was a wedding.
I was just about to get to that.
Sorry.
So then we hung out with Jackie Cieslak and Little Skane Ann and the Knitmores.
Yes.
And then I got to attend, or Mom and I, with a bunch of our friends, my friends from Villanova, got to attend a wedding of one of our Villanova friends at Villanova Chapel, which was lovely, and
her dress was gorgeous.
Just gorgeous. It was really lovely to be able to participate in that way. We watched over a broadcast, and it was just lovely. My friends and I were all on FaceTime together on my iPad, and so that was lovely because we got to have little side conversations that usually you would save until after the service. We didn't have to save till after the service. It was great.
They were singing along with the soloists.
We were singing along.
They knew.
Yeah, it was the soloist who had sung with us when we were in college too, and so it was just lovely. I'm pretty sure all of us got teary at one point or another. I cried through a good amount of it. But it was just really, really lovely to be able to experience
both. The junior usher waved at the camera.
Yeah. So did the bride and groom as they were leaving.
As they were leaving, the junior usher waved on his way in.
Oh, he did, yes. So that was lovely to be able to experience that in that way. Because if we hadn't have had, COVID,
you all would have been there.
We would have been there, and I would have missed a lot of Rhinebeck, or all of Rhinebeck, because, sometimes your friends mean more than Rhinebeck. I know, yes. It's blasphemous. So we did that, and then we took some time off for dinner, and then we came back on, and there was the fashion show for sweaters, which Mom had entered. I had forgotten and didn't, but I still got to present my sweater, and there was discussion. Lisa was there, Petrina was there in the beginning, Lisa was there, Corrado was the MC, Corrado Lark was the MC, and so, I was just gonna help you.
Okay.
And so, that was really lovely.
So I showed my boy Lollipop, and then because we had an hour to fill, I then also showed them the traveling sweater.
Yep.
Which has been shown to you all, but not worn outside yet. So it's still counted as a new sweater.
Yes. And then, so I then had showed off and advocated for the Artichoke French sweater, which I think anyone who has it in their queue should make, and anyone who possibly thought of it, you should do it. It's amazing. I want to make one in every color.
The wall.
Oh yes, and everyone loved the wall of yarn behind us, especially because once I made that announcement and public
the Artichoke French.
Yes, a service announcement. Mom then went stash diving while we were on still on video. And it was funny because Mom and I both ended up changing sweaters as the event went on. So I also changed it into my Nanilchik because someone else had mentioned that they modified or that they made some changes to a Caitlin Hunter sweater. So I brought out my Not So Swancho nail check.
And they loved it.
They did. I mean, I love it. So.
Because it's more of a sweater than a poncho type of thing. And she can wear it in almost any situation. Yeah. And it's appropriate. Whereas a swancho could be less than appropriate for a business day going into an evening day.
Possibly.
Yes.
So that was Untangled.
It was great.
It was awesome. I have put in orders with three companies, I think, so far.
I think I've done about 3.
I have 3, and then I think I have 2 more that'll probably happen, because I'm pretty sure Shiny Wear Co. is going to happen. And then the Untold imprint, as I told you earlier. But I ordered from One Geek to Craft Them All. I bought a set of the Untangled stitch markers. And then I got a pair of Untangled Designs by Yasmin earrings. She made the tall version. So this is the venti. So these are the largest size she makes. I actually have a pair of talls in the other room. They're the Empower purple ones. So they're about the size of the opening here. So those will be lovely. They're in the Untangled colorway that she chose for the weekend. And then I have Birdie Parker earrings coming to me. Yeah, I might. And there's Mayak that's like just sitting there as a maybe, but also that might happen at some point.
Well, I've got Mayak from 2 years ago.
I mean, I'm wearing Mayak, so
to make up. I want to do that first.
Reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so where did you order from?
I ordered from Katrinkles.
Oh.
I ordered a couple things from Katrinkles.
Oh, I might order from Katrinkles too. I just realized.
Yeah. And then you all had spoken about cocoa knits. Something I was listening to.
It was probably during bingo when they were talking about the cocoa knits portfolio. So then I ordered
cocoa knits.
The knitter's portfolio?
No, I ordered the stitch markers.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Because I'm always losing my stitch markers, so I'm going to bring those up here. So I've got stitch markers up here. I really like the removable stitch markers.
Yeah.
Because so often in a pattern, maybe you haven't counted right, and so you need to move a stitch marker. Or the pattern actually says, now move all your stitch markers 1 or 2 stitches to the right. And you're like, I can't do that until I get there. And then if you wait till you get there, you might forget. I've had a whole day of forgetting. I have been working on my Stephen West and
the MKAL.
Yeah, the MKAL, and I've managed to screw up 2 entire rows that I've had to take out, which slows you down.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely slows you. In fact, what I'm doing right now is I am balling up a mini skein for the Stephen West, because he says add in more colors when you get to this section if you feel like it.
If you feel like it.
And I said, I've got plenty of mini skeins.
So you feel like it.
So I feel like it. So I will show you this. I am up to date in the clues. Unless he says something tomorrow. So this is a spoiler.
Spoiler!
So this,
we'll tell you when the spoiler's over.
Right.
Once
this
it goes
is
over.
clue 1.
Yes, clue 1.
This
is bonus. This is section 1, clue 1.
This is bonus.
So it's section 2.
And then this is clue 2. So this was Friday. This was Monday. And this was Friday. And I finished this, I guess, on Thursday. And so I've worked on a couple other things this week, one of which is over there. And then this is legit clue 2, which is only halfway. Actually, it's 2/3, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the colors. And now I'm going to put in this one.
Oh.
And
it's got
then
a little bit more green and brown in it.
And then I'm going to put this one in, which is kind of a neutral blue. Just to put a little bit more diversity of color in.
Oh, interesting.
And then I'm just hoping he doesn't put another clue out tomorrow, because I would like to get all of the clue done before I move on. Anyway, you know I don't usually wear shawls. We've had this discussion. But his shawl is supposed to be humongous. And I'm thinking it's going to be a great sofa blanket. for me. So when I just kind of hunker down, I'm getting a little tired. The eyes need to rest. Not like I'm going to stay there for hours. I can just pull this up over me and get enough of me covered that I will be warm. And since this is mostly garter stitch, I am assuming that this will also block out tremendously like his normally do. So that's why I'm rolling up these mini skeins. So I've gotten that much done. What else have you been working on?
And 12.
Sorry. Do you want me to continue on with something? Okay, so she's talking about holiday buying.
Okay.
I have started my mother's thrummed mitten. So instead of making a 4-inch cuff, I made a 3-inch cuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's going to bother her. She's down in Virginia. It's certainly long enough to
still
cling to the wrist.
And be under a coat cuff.
Right. Before you start the thrums. Now, I think I'm using Corriedale for my fleece.
Yeah.
Because it's right here at hand. And it is so soft.
Mm.
So I think I've already started increasing for the thumb.
Nice.
That's what's here. So it's moving along, but only when Stephen and his clues let me.
I'm sorry. I know.
So this is least started.
Yes.
Now, would you like to talk about something else?
So, well, I was going to continue with Rhinebeck.
Okay.
So, also what was released this weekend was the Babs Rhinebeck colors.
So pretty.
Virtual Iris and Apple Season. And I ordered a skein of each. I ordered a skein of Big Silk in the Virtual Iris colorway, which is gorgeous, the purple.
Gorgeous colorway.
And then I got a Yummy 2-ply Toes in the Apple Season because it's very pretty. It's not my usual colors, but I'm drawn to it, so it might become a pop in a yoke of a sweater or something. So I wanted to have that. So I did get those. And I did register, as I said, for Rhinebeck itself. I didn't really take a look at any of them. But that's just because I had been so, not locked in, but like clued into the indie Untangled that,
right. This year would have been the year to get the Jenny the Potter's cup.
I didn't know. I don't think I saw Jenny on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know though. I could have totally missed it. The people I was looking out for were the non-wool people, so all the alpaca and the other people like that. But I also didn't. Today would have been the day,
right?
And
because Indy finished last night on Saturday night, so Rhinebeck had another 24 hours.
Yeah, so I didn't. It's okay. It happens. But yeah, other than that, I've been working away on the sleeves to my Pixelated Pullover sweater, as we've discussed previously. I have just gotten to the part where I do the pixelation into the yellow for right before the cuffs. I'm hoping I have enough yarn because this is for both cuffs, or for pixelation on both arms, body, and cuffs and hem. So we'll see. But yeah, I've been working on that. I also have been working on my Stephen West shawl. On Friday in Bingo, I finished section 1, and then yesterday I picked up for section 2. But I still haven't done the 3rd row of section 2. So I'll get that done this week. Hopefully I'll do sections 2 and 3, and probably whatever is released middle of the week. We'll see. I hope not.
I hope not.
But because I would really like to get this sweater done before moving on to more Stephen West, but we shall see
what he wants to do.
I'm really loving my colors so far because it's very moody. And it feels very appropriate to the season. My other color is this peachy color.
Oh, lovely.
I'm thinking about finding now that you've, thought about that, other colors, I might try and find that orangey color that I used last year and do one of the stripes in that, kind of make it a little...
section 2.
In the section 3.
3, right.
And
Clue 2.
Clue 2. And make it a little, a little spooky.
That'd be
little
cool.
Spooky. We'll see. I might just stick with my 3, with my 3 contrasts.
Well, I just want to make sure that I would have enough. And I like the idea of using up some of my mini skins.
Well, yeah. If I had some orange mohair, I might think about doing that with one of the grays, but I don't. So we will just move along. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. And then during the work day, I have been, like, during calls and things when I'm not taking notes, I've been working on my test knit, and I put it on a larger cord.
Because that was a hint that you gave during one of the fashion shows,
yes,
I think.
Yes, about color work. So now I'm in the second color work section. I'm using this blue for the contrast color. And so, yeah. I'm liking how it's turning out. It's a lot of fun to knit. I'm really opening up to the idea of having an olive green sweater. So, yeah. But that's what I've been working on. Have you worked on anything else besides
Yes, I have.
Stephen West and Nana's
Amazingly,
Mitts?
I have.
I'm impressed.
Yes. Oh, so this is the sweater I modeled last night. Whoops.
Yes.
And as I'm modeling it, Elizabeth looks and starts pinning a...
Here. Where is it?
I already fixed it.
Oh.
That's what I'm pointing. She pinned a stitch marker on me to catch
over here.
The stitch that was running up.
Yeah. I was like, something's not right there. And then I was like, hold on, we have to catch a stitch.
And I fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's already fixed. So this is ready to go in the drawer. So that's good. And I did go stash diving. I now have
2 or 3 options.
Yes. I've got the purple, which is studio worsted.
Is it Lauraville?
Looks like Lauraville to me. Yes. Lauraville. I've got plenty of that. I've got this, which I picked up at Rhinebeck 2 years ago.
I think it was last year, actually.
All right, last year. Lisa Souza in
Forbidden City.
It's a blue face Leicester. But I not only have the Artichoke French, but I also have ink and Wink.
Well, Wink is the worsted weight ink. Ink
yes.
is the fingering weight.
So I have those 2. So then I pulled out this.
Which is Yowza.
In amethyst. So this has 560 yards.
That's a DK.
I can do math.
I think you have 3 of them, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that.
So I've got plenty of that. And then we found...
In here.
Oh, it's in there.
We put it in its own bag.
We found Carolina.
Which we've been looking for a year.
So I've got 3... They thought it was so funny last night that I just turned around, ignored what was going on the screen, because I could hear them. And I was pulling out balls of yarn and stash diving. And I have to say that it's one of the real saving graces of having this kind of stash during a pandemic is I don't have to leave the house.
Well, and you don't have to wait on shipping.
I don't have to wait on shipping. It's all right here. And I like what I bought. So it's not that there's anything here that I'm like, ew, yuck. So anyway, so I have the yarn picked out, but I can't start that just yet because
she puts it all away.
Yes.
Again.
There we go. But I know what that's for. So since I had finished
something,
the bonus clue, or one of the clues, I guess, yeah, it was a bonus clue. I then went back to work on my striped t-shirt. And I have separated now for the sleeves. So I was moving right along with that. And I think I'm on row 5 of the body. So that was good. So as I finish the clues for Stephen West, I'm going to go to my striped pullover. I don't know when I'm going to get to 1600 Pennsylvania. But
she's so
Olivia
cute.
is done.
She's so cute.
Look at Olivia. I chose really big buttons. I believe they will pass the choke test since they're long. I've sewed them on very sturdily. Rich loves having the hood up. But you can also have the hood down and make it into the collar.
Yeah. Dad thinks Olivia looks a little off without her hood.
I don't know. He likes her punk, I think.
I guess.
So there's Olivia, and she is just
done,
ready to be a Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was delightful. So I think Susan Anderson's toys are really great patterns.
Yeah.
Great patterns. She said the Kitchener, this center seam, I didn't. I did a three needle bind off, which I like much better.
I was going to say, I think the only time we Kitchener instead of doing that is like, I didn't do a 3 needle bind off for the Stephen West part for that I-cord. I did do a Kitchener.
I did that too.
Right. So for little things like edges and things like that, but for a top of a hood, that is important. They can't see her.
Well, that's all right. I'm just putting her up there for me.
Okay.
So anyway, she is done. She is ready to be gifted, so that's good. 1600, whoops.
Pen.
1610 is still in here.
Okay.
And nothing's been done.
Okay.
So my plan is to work on Stephen West.
Hmm.
And as I get Stephen West's clues done, then I will go to the striped pullover. Mm-hmm. If I can, work on that for 2 days and just do a run of that. Mm-hmm. And then if I have time left over, work on 1600 Pennsylvania. And after I finish that, then I'm going to go digging in there to start either the artichoke, probably the artichoke French, since now I've spoken to 30 people.
Well, and it's such a good pattern for winter. I'm seriously thinking about getting some,
because it's the long sleeves. Because it's got the
long sleeves. It's a lovely pattern, y'all.
Yes.
Like, I cannot tell you all how much I loved I wore it almost all day yesterday. I did wear it with shorts in the house because we do have the heat on.
We do.
And so I did not want to overheat.
I was complaining that I was cold because the sofa that I have my leg out on downstairs is by the front window. And I said, I know it says that it's 69 degrees over by the television, but I can tell you it's not 69 degrees over here by the window. So he goes and gets me an outdoor thermometer and says, let's check this. Well, it was 65 degrees over by the window. And I said, it's too cold. So yes, we got the heat turned on. So now it's at least 68 by the window where I am, rather than keeping just the television warm. So
good.
Yes.
But so I, hung around the house with my Artichoke French and shorts on yesterday, which was a good life decision because I would have overheated if I had put on like full length pants. But the real question is, have you gotten?
Oh, so we went and looked at the boat.
Oh, you did?
That was Wednesday. So Tuesday was the doctor's visit in the city.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at my knee and said, so it's been about 6 weeks, right? I went, no, it's been 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. He goes, darn, you heal well. And I said, well, I think I had a good surgeon.
Okay.
So it was a mutual admiration society. He seemed quite pleased with the amount of range of motion that I've got. I am continuing to work on that. Doing what they say to do at physical therapy, not overdoing it. They're very afraid that I'm going to overdo it.
Reasonably so.
And tear something.
You are very excited.
I am. Wednesday, we drove out east to look at a boat. It's a make of boat that I've been interested in for probably 5 years. is a Maine catamaran. So they're a line of boats that have been made by one man and his crew, Dick Vermeulen, up in Maine. So very much Maine made. And there was one that was here out by Shelter Island. They brought it over to Greenport,
okay,
which was nice. And I had explained to Dick, I said, you know, I sent him an email when I had my knee done 2 weeks. And I said, you know, if I need to know where the boat is, because if I have to get to this boat by launch, it's going to be longer than if I can get to the boat at a dock because I've had my knee replaced. And I went, got it. Okay. So they brought the boat over to Greenport and had it at a dock. And it really did cement the fact that I liked this model of boat, this brand and model of boat. Mm-hmm. This particular boat had been in charter down in Florida. And the person who's selling it is actually the daughter of the person who had bought it and owned it. That person is my age and your father's age and is getting a divorce and just wants to be done with it. And for some reason I don't know what the deal is, he gave it to his daughter to sell. It was beaten up. Oh. I looked, it said it had an oven and a separate cooktop. Neither one was operational. So, and they lacked the knobs. I said, where are the knobs? I know I'd like to test to see the oven works. She said, oh, it doesn't work. You have to get a new one. The refrigerator doesn't work. You have to get a new unit, refrigerator unit. Almost everything that I wanted to check and see was broken. And yet the price really didn't reflect that. So as Richard kept looking at things, there was standing water in the shower. Now, your drain should drain. It shouldn't have standing water in the shower. And if we said that if we were selling a boat, even if it didn't drain, we'd get in there paper towels and sponges and clean out the water because otherwise you end up with a smell. There was water underneath the engines. Apparently there is a problem with some of the back hatches that if you get a wave over the front of the boat, if the drain around two of the hatches isn't properly vented, you can get water down by the engines.
Oh, good.
So that's really the only bad design flaw I think that we have with this model.
Okay.
And I said, so that means you'd have to have a flange, or you maybe have to have a protective pad over it or something. Something like that. But there was water there instead of having mopped that out. It looked to us like everything would have to be taken out of the boat and thrown away and then start again from scratch. So that was a disappointment. What was not a disappointment is I could easily get around the boat. That was nice. Richard had plenty of headroom. That also was fantastic. I liked the sight lines. I liked the bones of the ship. I didn't particularly like this ship. So we keep on the hunt for a ship for next year. I mean, we still have our boat, but I'd like to be doing much more sailing, and I think that would come with having the catamaran. So we'll keep you posted and see what happens. Yeah. But it was a nice trip out. We didn't feel like we wasted anything. I mean, it took only an hour and a half to get out there, and about an hour and a half, maybe a little less to get back. The traffic was really light. And it was a gorgeous sunny day. It was beautiful. Yeah. So it was, and we were able to go to a ship's chandlery out there and get some of the stuff that we needed for winterizing our own boat.
Oh, that's good.
At really good prices. So that was delightful. We didn't stop for lunch. I had brought some lunch things and some snacks with us, but we really were able to get home in time for lunch. So that was delightful. And it was just a nice day out. Really very nice. Had it been other times, I would have stopped at one or two of the wineries because I would have liked to pick up some rosé, but I couldn't figure out from the signs whether or not they were open for people who were just interested in picking out a couple bottles of wine, because they kept saying that for tastings you needed to make appointments, but I didn't care to taste it. I just wanted to buy it. We didn't stop. And normally we would have. But really, other than that,
good.
It was a great trip.
Good.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have stuff that came in the mail.
You did?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
After we go on a boat tangent.
Oh, that's my week.
So this week, my vote t-shirt from Neighborhood Fiber Co. came in. So it's got the 4 or 5 along it. So this week I wore my vote t-shirt from Nerd Bird Makery. And next week I will wear this one. And then the week after that I will wear the other one. And then I will wear this one. I will just keep trading them on and off.
Early voting in New York starts next Saturday.
Yes. So and early voting in a good amount of states that have early voting has already begun. So definitely check with your Board of Elections and your regulations and get out and vote. Also what came in was I had ordered some Countess Ablaze yarn from Indian Tangled in the Rebel fingering base. So I have I'm So
Gorgeous.
Indie, I Buy Yarn That Don't Exist Yet, which is a beautiful green teal.
Yes. I like that green.
I do too. I think it's a good teal. And then this is called Make, Do, and Mend. And it's a beautiful variegated with blue and purple and gold and some gray.
Accent color.
So this is going to be the main color and this is going to be the contrast color. I'm thinking for a Fatherland. Which also the designer has a sale going on right now on her patterns that she's hoping to also use the money that she will make over this weekend to afford some medical things that she needs. If you read about her, she grew up in the Ukraine within the Chernobyl zone. So she has some lasting effects from that.
Fruity Knitting.
Oh, yes.
Has a new video out, and the people involved in Fruity Knitting are Andrew and Andrea. It's a married couple, and they have found out that he has a medical problem. And if you're interested in finding out more, you can watch their latest video. It's pretty dire, as a matter of fact. So they're asking their patrons to remain their patrons, as their podcast is their only source of income. Andrew had retired or quit his real life job and had gone into full production with Andrea on the Fruity Knitting podcast, which has been really lovely podcast. So now, luckily, they live in Germany, and so he is able to get many medical treatments paid for by the government. But they want to do some experimental treatments, and for that, they will have to pay for it. So, plus, as Andrea said, they've got regular bills, such as, taxes and I don't
electricity,
know.
I'd assume.
Yes. I don't know whether they own their apartment or they pay rent, but obviously there are householder expenses that go along with that. So, heads up on that. I don't think I have any other news. Sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings.
Yeah, but yeah, so just wanted to remind everyone that the Indian Tangled Everywhere shops, if you have a ticket, are probably still open. Also, anyone who was a vendor or who you usually buy from Rhinebeck, definitely check out their web stores or Facebook pages or Instagrams to see if they're running anything or if they have anything special, or just to support them during this weekend, because this weekend usually is a big weekend for everyone involved in the fiber community who becomes involved with Rhinebeck and the other variety of, sundry other things that pop up around it.
Oh, yeah, like spindles and, weaving looms and all that other kind of stuff. So, it's a rough year. it is a rough year, and it's a matter of getting through it until they come up with some really superior treatments and vaccines, etc., where we can go back out of the house with impunity and mix with everybody. I miss people. We're having our church fair in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And I said that I would underwrite or help underwrite one of the baskets that people will be bidding on. And so the woman who's helping run it said, could you drop a check by? Well, I forgot to put a stamp on the envelope, so I was going up through physical therapy, so I just dropped it by the house. She wasn't there, so I just stuffed it in the front door and then texted her and said, I just dropped off the check. Sorry you weren't there. Missed talking to you, because she's also in the choir. And then as I go out by the library, she's coming in by the library, so we wave madly at each other. Aww. And continue on our way. So,
but that was the joy of having Indie Untangled everywhere and the lounges.
Oh, I got to talk to people. Normally, I just would have, kind of walked by them in the Indie Untangled. You don't usually meet people other than the shopkeepers. And this time we got to meet people who would have been attending. And I loved it.
And it felt very much like how we said we really loved last year, the string thing event that happened, because you sat and you ate and you hung out, and that's where we met Stephanie Aaron, the crochet designer,
yes.
And I can't remember her real name, but she runs Feisty Fibers. I legitimately just call her Feisty, and she responds to it, so it's all good.
Yes, we met some new people that night, and 2 people who play Pokemon with me, and still play Pokemon with me.
Fun.
So I think of them every day, which is delightful. So yes, those events where you can sit and talk, and this weekend with Indie Untangled was a weekend of sitting and talking. Mm-hmm. And then because of the things that were going on in the lounge and the people that they had speaking in the lounge, they gave a central focus that you could then come off of, and that I thought worked really, really well.
Yeah. So, we don't know how any of the other events go on and if they have these type of, feelings, because we haven't attended. This is the first one we've attended, mostly because up until now, all of the Vogue ones have been during the weekends, and up till now we've been sailing on weekends, as a family. Also, it's hard to get my father out of the mindset that, weekends we do things together a lot of the time now. But he knows that this weekend is
the
Rhinebeck weekend. And usually we're gone from Thursday, usually Usually I pick up Mom Wednesday night or Thursday morning and we drive up.
We're not back till late Sunday.
Till after, we usually record up there and then, come back down. So it was a very different feel, and I noticed him very consciously, pushing aside his, slight upset that we were not going to be,
Well, he did go out sailing on Saturday with friends of ours.
He did.
I should be able to go sailing. I'm hoping to be able to go sailing next week. But,
so you can go one more time before?
Something like that, or I help him move the boat over. It's just, the point was to get the knee done as soon as possible so as to avoid being in the hospital when it possibly gets worse again. It being the
COVID
incidence rate, yes. So, and I seem to have done very well with that, so I'm quite pleased. But it did mean it kind of cut into the sailing season. Rats. But, these things happen.
They do.
Yes.
They do. But I think with that, we have
run through this very quickly. I thought we'd be speaking for 2 hours.
I thought we would too, but I think we're going to talk more
busy weekend. And it was really delightful.
I think it's more when we get the stuff.
Possibly. I've gotten some of the Katrinkle stuff downstairs already.
Yeah, and I got the indie yarn already.
It has to come upstairs.
Yes, and I might be putting in a Katrinkle's order.
I love
because now that I saw someone put she has tags that say not Rhinebeck 2020 and also Rhinebeck sweater 2020, and I'm like, I might need to put that on a few things.
You might, yes.
Because I do have the Untangled sweater tag, which is
what I put on this.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it probably on this, since I did work on this all weekend, and it had been my intention.
And this says Untangled sweater.
Yep. And so I think I'm gonna do that. The other sweater that I'm thinking about, the not Rhinebeck, is this, is the Artichoke French, for also some giggle purposes, because it is from the Rhinebeck sweater book.
Ah.
So I think it'd be kind of, funny in a, memorializing the time in which I finally, it'd be a bit tongue-in-cheek to also have a tag on it that says not Rhinebeck. But yeah, so I think it's time to weave in our ends, which, if you've been following along with the Stephen Westman Make-Along,
there are a lot of ends.
There are a lot of ends, but you should be weaving them in as you go. And so,
as a friend of ours says, that you can weave them in as you go, but she still doesn't feel quite as secure as when she kind of weaves them in diagonally and then turns around and comes back diagonally. So then there's nothing coming out.
Yeah, I think I might just tie knots because it's
I've been weaving effort.
I've been weaving in as I've been knitting it, as suggested.
I've been doing that, but then I also then take the end and just kind of put it in.
Maybe when I get to the end of this section, I'll do that, because I
do it section by section.
Oh, good on you. I am not that good, y'all.
Because I hate doing it later.
Yeah, I that's why I'm saying maybe I'll do it after section 2, and then from that on I will continue.
So Olivia has her ends weaving in. My sweater here has the ends woven
So I apparently am the only one here who has ends to weave in. So I'm gonna go weave those in.
I'm gonna work on my Stephen West.
And we'll talk to you all next week.
All right.
Bye, y'all.